from covenant to commitment. How God's faithfulness shapes our life and leadership. There's a verse tucked into the middle of Deuteronomy that doesn't just speak, it roars. It calls out to every believer, every business leader, every weary heart looking for direction and definition in a noisy world. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 7:9. This isn't just theology. It's not abstract encouragement. It's a call to live, lead, and love with rooted conviction. Because if God is truly faithful and his promises stretch across generations, then our response, our leadership, our decisions, our integrity must be shaped by that reality. Let's dive in. The blueprint behind every promise. Before we talk about what to do, let's talk about why we do anything at all. Imagine a blueprint that's been passed down for centuries, not rolled up and left to gather dust, but alive, marked with fingerprints, tears, battle scars, and breakthrough moments. That's what God's covenant is. His blueprint of love wasn't built in a vacuum. It was forged in the promises he made to Abraham under starlit skies, in the laws spoken to Moses on a trembling mountain, in the loyalty shown to David on the run, and ultimately fulfilled in Jesus Christ. Deuteronomy 7:9, this stands like a signpost in the wilderness, reminding us that we didn't start this journey alone. This verse isn't passive inspiration. It's an identity declaration. God is your God, not some generic deity, not a corporate executive with a clipboard. Your God, faithful, covenant-keeping. And here's the kicker. He doesn't just promise for today. He promises for 1,000 generations. If you're in Christ, you're walking in a legacy that long precedes you and will long outlast you. So when you're navigating your next client pitch, hiring decision, or brand pivot, don't forget, your life is tied to a bigger blueprint. Faithfulness in a flaky world. We live in a world of disappearing commitments. Contracts have loopholes, friendships dissolve over difference, brands pivot overnight, chasing trends instead of truth. But God doesn't pivot. His covenant of love is rooted not in your performance, but in his character. The Hebrew word here is chesed, a word that combines loyalty, kindness, and relentless mercy into one idea. It's the kind of love that stays even when you've failed. It's the kind of love you can build on. Now pause. Think about your own life or leadership. How do you show up? Is your yes dependable? Is your leadership anchored in consistency? Or does it shift based on how you're feeling that week? Faithfulness isn't sexy. It doesn't trend, but it's what builds legacies that last. Performance versus promise, the heart-level battle. Here's where it gets raw. Most of us deep down still operate like God's love is transactional. If I hit the numbers, if I serve well, if I don't mess up, then I'll be secure, I'll be seen, I'll be worthy. But Deuteronomy 7:9 dismantles that thinking. God's love doesn't waver with your wins or losses. You can be on a professional mountaintop or curled in a valley of disappointment, and his faithfulness hasn't moved an inch. That kind of love is uncomfortable because it's immovable. You can't manipulate it. You can only receive it. So ask yourself, what would shift in your leadership if you believed that your value was rooted in covenant, not performance? Maybe you'd take more meaningful risks. Maybe you'd lead with greater compassion. Maybe you'd stop striving to be enough and start creating from a place of already being chosen. The covenant lens, seeing your business as kingdom work. We love to compartmentalize. God over here, business over there. Sundays are sacred, Mondays are strategy. But covenant refuses to stay in the church box. It invades everything. When you understand that you're operating under the faithfulness of God, then your work becomes an extension of His nature. You don't just lead a team, you steward souls. You don't just build a product, you solve problems with kingdom integrity. You don't just chase profit, you cultivate purpose. That's what covenant-centered leadership looks like. It doesn't clock in and out. It shows up with consistency, conviction, and a clear why behind every move. Your business isn't just business, it's discipleship in disguise. A legacy to build, a generation to serve. To 1,000 generations. It's easy to glaze over that part. But slow down. God's faithfulness is generational. That means your decisions today ripple into futures you'll never see. Your daily obedience, how you show up in the unseen, and how you walk with integrity when no one's watching have an impact far beyond what any algorithm will measure. Professionally, this means legacy matters more than likes. Faithfulness beats fame, and investing in people will always outlast performance metrics. Relationally, it means your presence matters. Showing up for your team, your spouse, your kids, not with perfection, but with covenantal consistency. That's the stuff that breaks generational chains and builds generational blessings. The challenge: covenant as a leadership standard. Let me challenge you straight up. Stop leading from reaction. Start leading from revelation. You are a covenant carrier. You are wired to reflect the faithfulness of your God, not the unpredictability of the world around you. That means doing what you said you'd do. That means being the same person in the boardroom, the kitchen, and the prayer closet. That means rejecting the easy out and choosing the faithful way. Deuteronomy 7:9 is not a feel-good verse. It's a call to arms. Will your leadership, your life, your love, be worthy of the covenant you've received? Final takeaway: live as loved. Lead as loyal. If you remember nothing else from this, let it be this: God is faithful not just to you, but through you. He's writing a legacy through your life. Every yes matters. Every act of obedience counts. And every time you choose covenant over convenience, you're joining the long line of people who dared to believe that God's love could actually be trusted. So live as one who is loved. Lead as one who is loyal. And let your life echo the faithfulness of the one who keeps His word. Every time, every season, every generation. What's one area, spiritual, relational, or professional, where you need to reflect God's faithfulness this week? Choose it, name it, and act like covenant is your compass.